meteorologist Chase Jones.
Well, as we pull up the time lapse, Zoe and I were just talking about a live feed that you guys can pull up through those traffic cams or the Windy app on your phone. You can get all the live feed data for these observations. They even put in a new mesonet, but we're keeping our eye in the panhandle because yesterday that tornado was a mile wide and they're already going off right now. Let's make our way into a beautiful weekend down here in the Concho Valley. Going to be hovering around that triple-digit mark by tomorrow, so make sure you're practicing a lot of that hot weather safety. That's sunblock, water, and checking the back seat. Temperatures over the last 24 hours going from those 90s all the way down into those mid-70s. They're making a good run at those mid-90s right now. And we'll see how quickly we cool off. I'm on the lookout for another crazy evening with some light rain and some stronger winds. Make sure you tie down any loose objects, keeping our eye on those gusty conditions. 94 in San Angelo. Everybody else in those mid to lower 90s shaping up for a beautiful Friday night. Make sure you make plans or don't have any plans. It's going to be great either way. 99 in Robert Lee, 93 down there in Junction, 6 degrees across the entire Concho Valley, unless you want to count Brady out there. But it's going to be a beautiful Friday night either way. Keeping our eye on those dew points and those humidity indices for any severe weather, but it's looking pretty gentle, if not going around the Concho Valley. Dew points are in those 60s across the entire region, while humidity indices are in those 30s and those 40s. You know how we're always keeping our eye on to see how much they'll rise as we make our way through the evening. Of course, that's associated with the cloud cover that could slide its way in. A lot of convection going across the Rocky Mountain Front Range right now. Now, Moisture Tracker is going to show you how the hovering blue will stick around the entire region, but we're keeping our eye on the cold air that's going to make its way down from the Dakotas or around that Minnesota region. Going to push down pretty hard, and we can see cooler temperatures all the way back down into those 80s, and some thunderstorm activity sticking around for about a week. As we close in on Father's Day, you have 9 days left. Now, the upper level pattern going to show you where that cold air is going to make its way in from the north, but off towards the west, keeping our eye on the high pressure that hovers around the four corners and really just pulling in that cold air from the west coast. As we get further into hurricane season, we're keeping our eye on those Gulf Coast temperatures as they hover around those 90s, with a lot of that moisture making its way all the way up here into the Concho Valley. Water vapor imagery, keep your eye on the panhandle developing all across the Rocky Mountains right now. Every storm chaser is right up around Amarillo and Lubbock. Severe weather outlook is the panhandle again, just outside of the Concho Valley, but all the way down at the surface, you can already see a lot of that tornado watches and warnings being issued with a little bit of severe weather warnings around that Lubbock region. We zoom in across the state of Texas because I really want you guys to get a good idea of the severe weather that's going to try to rip through the area. Now, several storms taking aim at Oklahoma. We'll see the on-off cloud cover. Of course, by Saturday evening, Stephen will get a closer look to see whether or not this storm decides it wants to show up. It makes its way out of the area, but by Sunday, we're going to see some of that cooler air start to make its way in. You see it push down from the panhandle, just missed the Concho Valley twice, and then we make our way into a beautiful second week of June as we level out somewhere in those mid-80s. So tonight, back down into the 70s. I'm on the lookout for some of that wild weather we saw yesterday. Then tomorrow, a good run of those triple digits, but Stephen's going to be on the lookout for some of that afternoon thunderstorm activity if it wants to show up. Usually he gets it right, and then they make their way up into those triple digits. As we get closer towards Father's Day, I'm keeping my eye on the cooling weather as we see the return of some of that thunderstorm activity. Take a good look at these overnight lows back down into those 60s, while the daytime heating hovers around those 80s, but we're on the recharge as we push back up into those 90s. Stay tuned. I'm going to break. You're watching KSAN News at 5.